all of your wasted honor, every little past frustration. Take all of your so-called problems, better put them in quotations, and say what you need to say. 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 Hey. Walking like a one-man army, fighting with shadows in your head, living out the same old moment, knowing you'd be better off instead. If you could only say what you need to say. 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 Have no fear for giving in. Have no fear for giving over. You better know that in the end, it's better to say too much than never say what you need to say. Even as your hands are shaking and your faith is broken, even as the eyes are closing, do it with a heart wide open, and say what you need to say. 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 Say what you need to say.
What a wonderful musical invocation. That's Mr. Stephen Walters. Thank you so much for your consciousness and your music. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, our Sunday online service. My name is Reverend Deborah Johnson, also known as Rev D. It is so wonderful to be here in fellowship with you. Regardless of where you are, regardless of the time that it is, there's only one of us here. That's all. There's just one of us here. And Spirit doesn't care about geography, location. It doesn't care about tradition or culture or any of that stuff. So at Inner Light, we try to get down to the kernels. We try to get down to what we call the universal spiritual truths. We are here to encourage the practical application of these universal spiritual truths to all of life's circumstances. We are here about healing. Our goal is individual, personal, and global transformation. That's why we're here, to do the deep inner work that we need to do to awaken from the hypnotic trance that has us believe that we are the outer things that are going on out there. Now, to awaken to the truth of our spiritual identity, and then to roll up our sleeves and do the things that are incumbent upon us to really shine for the divine collectively as well. That's why we're here. And we invite you on this journey, whether this is your very first time ever tuning in or whether you've been with us for years. It matters not, in the sense that there's only one of us here. And if you're new, we really want to welcome you. I know that your presence is no accident, regardless of when it is that you might be tuning into this. You might actually be hearing this years from now, but it doesn't matter, because it's what is needed right at this moment. We say thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. At Inner Light, we are committed to providing tools for living. Tools for living. We're not about telling you where to go. Religious and spiritual principles are not so much about telling you where to go. They're more like traffic laws. Traffic laws don't tell you where to go, but they make sure that you can safely arrive to wherever it is that you're destined to go. But not only that you safely arrive, that if we obey the traffic laws, we won't interfere with each other's journeys. Okay. There's some place that life is taking you. And I know that there's an inner something that guides. Sometimes it's a little difficult for us to discern it when we're caught up in a lot of things that are going on in the outer world. But I know that your existence here is no accident. It's part of a master plan, that there's meaning and there's purpose for your life, that there's contributions that you can make that are uniquely yours to make based upon everything about you. You are encouraged here not to leave anything out. The things that you like, the things that you don't like, just lay them on the altar. There's a divine alchemy that takes place. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes form. You can't unring the bell. The stuff is already here. It just changes form. Just like you might have a gold ring and you might have a gold necklace. And the necklace and the ring are complete in your life right now. And you put it in the altar and there's an alchemy that happens so that a bracelet comes out of it. Well, such as it is with our lives. Don't worry about getting rid of the rings or getting rid of the necklaces. Just bring it to the altar of life, and everything will get transformed into what it needs to be. One of the tools that we provide every week are 100 words. 100 words to recalibrate, to retune. You know, an instrument has to be tuned. Sometimes it gets a little sharp. Sometimes it gets a little flat. We're like that as people. We get a little flat. Sometimes we're a little sharp. And we need a frequency, we need a vibration to align with that can bring us back to center. Well, that's what these words do. If you dare to use them, if you dare to say them often, not just right now, but dare to embody them and embrace them, allow them to take root in you, they're going to bear good fruit. You're going to shift, you're going to change. And in that shift, in that change, you're going to be unleashing all kind of possibilities that don't even seem apparent right now. If you're able to, I invite you to say the affirmations with me as they appear on your screen now. Our topic today is Encoded with Greatness. We welcome the next leg of our collective journey. We are forever creating our future by the choices that we make today. Encoded within us are seeds of greatness. Humanity can't become anything that we are not being. We choose to evolve into our highest potential. We unshackle our capacity to care. We unleash our willingness to contribute. Drama is optional. We don't need disasters to give us permission to be generous and compassionate. We reignite the fire burning in our collective souls. We're proud of the legacy we leave. The next 7 generations are blessed by who we become today. Let me just breathe that in for a moment. I'm going to invite Stephen Walters to come back and to give us a little musical inspiration for our message today.
That which is born must surely die. This goes on and on like some endlessly spinning wheel. This world that we see is like a cloud in the sky. There is only one thing that I know to be real. It's just this moment. Always changing, always the same. It's just this moment. So wild and yet so tame. It's just this moment. I'm dancing in the flames. Let them burn. Let them burn. Let them burn. I am what remains. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva, Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva, Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya. It's impossible to speak of this. Imagine holding a candle to the light of the sun. There is only forever and the incomparable bliss of knowing the battle is already won. It's just this moment. Always changing, always the same. It's just this moment. I'll surrender again and again to just this moment. I'm dancing in the flames. Let them burn. Let them burn. Let them burn. Oh, I am what remains. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva, Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya. It's not about hope. It's not even about trust. It's about ashes to ashes and dust to dust, and finding that home is just this moment. Just this moment. It's just this moment. Oh, it's just this moment.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen Walters. Let's just take a breath. Let's take a breath. And our topic today is encoded for greatness. Encoded for greatness. So often we can look out at the world and get into a tremendous amount of despair. It looks like things are really, really challenging right now. And I'm not here to be in denial and to say that things are not challenging. What I am here to say is that if we really want to know our potentiality, we have to be willing to look beyond what we see. All spiritual traditions tell us this, not to judge by the appearances. It's Maya or illusion, that there's something behind what it is that we see. If we're only going by our naked eye, we're going to miss the potentiality. If you look at someone who's ill, for example, if all you see is that illness, then you're not going to pray. You're not going to bless them. You're not going to hold the vision for them of getting out of that, being restored, being whole. We have the tendency to just take whatever fact is before us and then put that on a trajectory into the future. Like, this illness is going to lead to this thing, and this thing. This conflict is going to lead to this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This dire financial situation is going to lead to this, this, and this. No, there's something beyond. There's something behind all of that. And if you only pay attention to what is expressing itself in the moment, you're going to miss it. We do this all too often. We write each other off. And it starts at such a young age that we're writing people off. I am not exaggerating when I say this. But in the state of California, I've been in California my whole life, we build more prisons than we do schools. We invest more in prisons than we do schools. And you know how we project the prison capacities of facilities that we're going to need in the future? We use third grade test scores. I am not exaggerating. I am not kidding. We are looking at the success rate of kids in the third grade to determine whether or not they're going to wind up in prison. Maybe, just maybe, if we use the third grade test scores as an indication of how much we needed to invest in these children now to help develop their potential, maybe we wouldn't need the prisons. I do a lot of prison outreach work. In the state of California, we spend on average about $67,000 a year to incarcerate an adult. And this number, I am not exaggerating, we spend over $250,000 a year on average per kid to incarcerate. $250,000 a year per kid. I contend that if we weren't writing these kids off and believed that there was some potentiality in there, and we took that money and invested it in them, oh my God, what a difference that would make. In fact, I remember distinctly, it was a prison visit, and there were these two brothers, these two Black guys that were clerks in this one particular yard. Whenever we would go, at the time of day that we would go, these two men were often playing chess with each other. They looked like they were probably in their 50s or something like that, a couple of Black guys. So I remember having a conversation with one of them. And he kind of intrigued me in terms of his background and all that. He had a master's degree from San Jose State. And he just, while he's playing chess, he's just looking at me one time and he said, you know what? He says, with all that money that y'all are spending to lock me up, he said, if you would just give me the $65,000 a year instead of spending it to lock me up, you had no problem with me. And I thought about that, and I understood his logic. Each and every one of us is encoded with greatness. With greatness. Don't just look at how we're behaving. Don't just look at what we're doing, because there's more to it than that. As a society in the United States, we're amongst the most unhealthy of all the industrialized nations. And just like with incarceration, that we have the highest incarceration rate, we are 5% of the world's population, and we have 25% of the world's incarceration. It's very similar. We spend more on healthcare than any other industrialized nation, and we're some of the furthest behind. We have the highest teen pregnancy rate. We have the highest infant maternal mortality rate in giving childbirth. We have all of these things that are going on, and yet we're more than that. So we have a system that isn't designed to promote our health. The system is designed to deal with illness. That trajectory that I was talking about. So you see this illness, and then you predict, well, if you have this illness, then you're going to get this symptom, and that symptom. Okay, so let's give you this other drug to now deal with that symptom. And then that has side effects. So then you take something else for the other symptom. So literally, about a third of the people who are in the hospitals now are there as a result of some intervention to try to mitigate something else. Because we believed more in the illness than we did their health. Listen to what I'm saying. We do this all the time. We do this in our relationships. Things are getting wonky. Things are going, sideways. Whether it's our personal relationships, whether it's social political relationships. And then all that we see is the behavior. That's all I can see. When I see you, all I see is somebody who cheated on me. When I see you, all I can see is somebody who is trying to suppress the vote. When I see you, all I see is this thing or that thing, because we have forgotten. We have forgotten that first and foremost, each and every one of us is a spiritual being. And I use the word encoded very deliberately. This is not some far off goal that we have to strive for. This is not something that we have to figure out how to be. It's encoded in us, in our spiritual DNA. Possibility, potential, capacity, creativity, wholeness, love, innovation, strength, courage. It's encoded within us. It's already who we are. But we can't activate it if we deny that we have it. We can't activate it if we don't recognize it. How often do we have people say things like, oh, well, I'm not good at that. Or I can't do this, I can't do that. And then in that mindset, they're actually cutting themselves off from things that could really be beneficial to them. I remember doing that in my own life. I was in the 3rd grade and I had gotten a C. Now, I was accustomed to being an A student. I come from a family of that. That's just the way that it was. My mother never got a B in her life, all the way through a master's at USC. She was valedictorian in chemistry at Southern University. My dad, pretty much the same thing. It just was the way that it was. It wasn't like a big deal. And I got this C. And I got the C in art. And I remember asking my teacher, why did I get this C? And her response was, because I couldn't give you all A's. That was her response. Because I couldn't give you all A's. And that left this imprint in my brain that said, oh, art is not for me. I can't do this. There's something that everybody else has, some artistic gene, but I don't have it. It's not encoded in me. For years, years. It wasn't until I got into my 40s when I started giving myself permission to actually do some stuff that was artistic. And I'm not I'm not talking about, like painting a painting or doing a sculpture or something like that. I'm just talking about little stick figures and visionings. And lo and behold, what I have discovered is that that process of visioning, kind of channeling, feeling into something, and allowing yourself to put it on paper, what you're getting, oh my God, the energy and the things that it reveals, it's become a mainstay. It's become a mainstay not only in my own life, but in my practice. Not just my spiritual practice, but my business practice too, as an organizational consultant. And I find one of the quickest ways to build a team and to level the playing field between the people who are senior and the folks that are new is to get them to do these exercises. Maybe we do a mural about intention. Maybe we just scroll out butcher paper and we're all drawing on it about what do we see as highest and best possibilities. And my goodness, the things that come out of people's mouths is so much more profound and integrated than if you just asked them to talk about it. Who knew? But now I do. Because now I know there is something that is encoded with each and every one of us that enables us to tap in to potentials that we don't even have. Way too many people are getting into despair about what they see as the human condition. Even the so-called progressive folks or the liberal folks are giving up on humanity. They're giving up. They're looking at the contention that's out there. They're looking at the divisiveness, the polarization. They're looking at the lack of civility and all these different things out there, and then declaring that to be human nature, as opposed to just behavior that's being engaged in right now. But it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. The last word has never been spoken. I don't care what has happened to you. I don't care if you have been trafficked in the sex slave trade. I don't care if you have had all kind of abuses, oppressions, addictions, bankruptcies, homelessness. It doesn't define you, nor does it in any way, shape, or form limit your potentiality, what it is that you can be, what it is that you can do, what it is that you can accomplish. You hear me say all the time, your experience of life isn't the what happens to you, it's how we name it. And the healing is in the renaming it. So you have to pay really careful attention to what is your narrative. Just like the narrative I was sharing with you that I developed as a child about my lack of capacity to do something. Well, I've had that same narrative about things that are mechanical. Technological things or whatnot will really confuse me and scare me. And it has honestly only been since COVID It's only honestly been in the last couple of months here that I have chosen to give up that narrative and try to stop my own self-talk about what I don't know or what I'm too old to figure out or like whatever that stuff is. And just say, no, technology is my friend. Okay? It's my friend. And I can figure it out. Especially if the whole world is doing it. I remember having to do the same self-talk when I got my driver's license at 16. At first, I was really afraid, and then I looked around and I thought, millions of people have a driver's license. And if millions of people have a driver's license, I can do this. I'm pretty sure I can do this. What do you see when you look out? Do you see the potential? Is that what you see? When you look at a garden and you see the weeds, do you just see something that's unkept? Or do you see the potential of what it can be? When you're looking at people, do you just see who they are or what they've done? Or are you seeing what they could be? There's this balance that's there. You see people for all they can be, and you meet them where they are. It's both. If you're a person that is experiencing homelessness, I meet you where you are. I help provide. I help to make connections, resources, so that you can have more housing security, whatever that stuff is about. But I don't do it because you're needy. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I see your greatness. My support of you is for affirmation of who you are and what you can be. And knowing that with a little assistance here, that you can go on into your greater yet to be. I'm not up here giving down to you, lowly person. Oh, I'm so glad God has blessed me. Oh, I'm so glad. And now I've got some, and it's that season of the year. And let me just go help the needy. No. Yes, there are people in need, but those people in need are your brothers and your sisters. They are equal to you. Encoded within them is greatness. Encoded in you is greatness. And by greatness, I'm not necessarily meaning that you're going to get in the history books. That's not what it's about. Greatness isn't about doing great things. Greatness is about doing whatever you're doing in a great manner. Showing up with your A game. I don't remember the exact quote, but Martin Luther King Jr. just explained it so eloquently when he was saying that if you want to be the bush, but you're just a little shrub by the side of the road, then be that. That if it falls your lot to be a garbage collector, then do that. He says, collect the garbage the way that Michelangelo painted pictures. Collect it that way. He says, if it's your lot to sweep streets, then do that. then sweep streets with the same kind of gusto that Beethoven created music. He said, you do it with such greatness that when you die, all the heavens and the earth are going to look down and say, there lies a great street sweeper. Just do you. Don't be mealy-mouthed. Don't do it half-stepping. Do it wholeheartedly. Show up with your A game. Give it all you have. Have an expectancy within you. You know, if you watch a great athlete, for example, the only one that the athlete is competing against is their own self. The really great athlete isn't just about beating somebody else to win. The great athlete is always upping up their game. They're always stretching the boundaries of what it is that they're able to do. You're encoded with greatness. You have the power to do things beyond the capacity that you think you can do it now. You can love at depths greater than you ever imagined that you could love. You can forgive at levels greater than you ever imagined that you could forgive. You can give at levels deeper than you ever thought that you could give. You can create beyond whatever creative talent or abilities that you thought that you had. You say, well, how do I do that? You tap into it. It's encoded within you. This is the great paradox of it all. When you think you don't have it, you have to tap within yourself to find it. The more you think you don't have it, the more you've got to search within to find it. When you're diseased and you're not experiencing the help, guess what? You've got to tap into your own body. You can't borrow the health. You can't buy the health. You can't barter it. You can't manufacture it. The health that you're seeking is in the same body that's experienced the illness and the disease. But you won't call it forth if you're blinded by the illness. The same legs that appear to be paralyzed, those are the same legs that are going to walk again. But if all you see are paralyzed legs, you're never going to walk again. It's encoded within you. You say, I can't do it anymore. I don't have the strength. Where are you going to get the strength? You're going to tap into that well deep within yourself, even in the midst of the exhaustion. Where am I going to find the wherewithal to keep loving, to keep forgiving? You're going to tap into it because it's encoded within you. It just needs to be activated. This is true on a personal level. This is true on the collective level. You say, well, how are we ever going to get to peace and goodwill? It's in you. Peace is a verb. It's a verb. We will experience the peace on the outside when we be peace. Faith is a verb. Where am I going to find the faith? You're not going to find it out there. It's within you. It's who you are, what you're looking for, you're looking with. What you're looking for, you're looking with. It is you. Everything that you could possibly want is already within you to tap into and to activate You say, but what about all this stuff? What about all this other stuff that's here? What about it? What about it? It will get transformed and it will get transmuted. I want to end with a short story. It's actually a true story. I spoke at Agape a few weeks ago, the 36-year anniversary. I'm one of the founding members of Agape in Los Angeles. It was like a bit of a reunion. They're starting to allow people to come in. And there were some people there that I hadn't seen literally in decades. So standing outside was this one guy in particular who used to study with me literally in my living room. During this anniversary month, we've been talking about at Agape those individuals like myself that had been in Reverend Michael Beckwith's living room. Well, this guy was in my living room during this same time period when we were first starting Agape. His name is Johnny, literally, his name is Johnny. And I have permission to tell this story, but it speaks to what I'm talking about. So Johnny shared with us years ago, this was when I was still living in Los Angeles, how he had gotten 3 or 4 DUIs, driving under the influence. He'd been an alcoholic. He hadn't taken care of all of that. He wound up having to do 6 months in the Los Angeles County Jail. LA County Jail is not a place you want to be in. In many respects, it's worse than prison. But here's the thing. In between the last DUI and when he went to jail, he sobered up. He dried out. When he went into jail, he took with him the Science of Mind textbook and read the whole thing cover to cover. Science of Mind by Ernest Hall, the foundational text for religious science known as Science of Mind. They're now branded as Centers for Spiritual Living. It's the group that I had studied with. And I'll never forget this. He said they thought they were punishing a drunk. He said, but that man, he didn't even exist anymore. So why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story to say, yes, we set things into motion. There's always a consequence, cone with sequence. There's always something that follows. And you may have set some things into motion that still have your name on it. I'm not saying that your greatness is a get out of jail free card. What I'm saying is that in jail, you'll be great. I see it happen all the time. In prison, my best spiritual teachers are people who were incarcerated for life. The greatness isn't about where you are. It's about that finding and coming into yourself wherever you are. And there is nothing that can interfere with that except your willingness to own it and claim it. You own it when you acknowledge something to your own self. You claim it when you acknowledge it to other people as well. Listen to what I'm saying. We're closeted about a lot of stuff. We may be owning it with our own selves, but we don't want to be known as that. We don't want other people to see us as that. But when you not only own, but claim the greatness that is within you as a spiritual being, oh, eyes have not seen nor ears heard the majesty that is before you. Will you do it? Will you just stop all the negative narratives and accept that within you and everybody else is greatness just awaiting your activation? Just try it and see and marvel at the blessings in front of you. Whew, let's pray. We start this prayer off with gratitude. That there's so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. Give thanks. We give thanks for divine potential. God has not given us a spirit of timidity or fear, of cowardice. We have been given a spirit of power, of unconditional love, and the self-discipline of a sound mind. So in this moment right now, we dare to stand in the I am that I am, beyond circumstance or condition, and we say, use me. Mother, Father, God Almighty, Holy Spirit, by any name, use me. Use me. I'll be your voice. I'll be your ears. I'll be your hands. I'll be your feet. I'll be your loving arms of compassion. I'll be your heart. Love humanity through me. It's a come as you are party. Thank you, God, for accepting us exactly the way that we are and loving us beyond all of that. Thank you for being all needs met. All of them: material needs, financial needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, relational needs, economic needs, planetary needs, political needs, all needs met. Thank you. Thank you. I say thank you for opening our time-blinded eyes to see the possibilities. Thank you for opening up our hearts to unleash generosity beyond anything that we even thought we could possibly. We pray this not just for ourselves. We pray it for everyone. We are all sons and daughters of the Most High. God's grace is sufficient. We rest in this. We breathe it. We fan its flame. We lift each other up. We dare to remember and to know. We get out of the way and simply allow it to be. Namaste. And so it is.
Let your light shine. Come on now, let it shine. Come on, let it shine on. Oh, night and day. People, let your light shine. Come on now, let it shine. Let it shine on all night and day. You know, we all got a light inside. But people, how can we survive if we don't let it shine on all night and day? You know the world is dark with fear. People too scared to let you near. They need to see you shine on all night and day. People, let your light shine. Come on now, let it shine. Come on, let it shine on all night and day. Oh.
Thank you, Stephen. Perfect. We're a praying community at Inner Light. If there's something on your mind, something on your heart, you need prayer, please reach out. The information is scrolling on your screen right now. We have practitioners, prayer practitioners. They've trained for years to be able to speak that word and hold that space for you, to look beyond the appearances, just as I've been talking about right now, to see that divinity and that greatness that's just sitting there and waiting to see you for all that you can be and meet you exactly where you are. You can send us an email, the number 4 prayer@innerlightministries.com. You can also give us a call at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. It's all confidential. Even if it's not some crisis and you just want somebody to stand in agreement with you for some divine unfoldment, something wonderful that's happening, we're there to be with you, by your side. If you want to know what's going on and how to follow us and how to participate, I invite you to go to our Inner Light calendar. You will find there's things that are going on in person. There's things that are going on that are happening virtually. If you happen to be in the Santa Cruz area, I would like to invite you this afternoon to join us from 3 to 5 p.m. We will be at the 418 Project, the old River Street Theaters. I believe the address is 555 River Street. Come on by. Our choir is going to be there having a little reunion, get together, and I'm going to be there. And we would just love to hang out a little bit. That's from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time here in the Santa Cruz area. If you are looking at this in real time, I invite you to join our Zoom group. After service, we have individuals who get together, kind of like a virtual social hall. So just because you can't meet with us in the afternoon, we still want to give you an opportunity to connect. You'll see there's a tiny URL there, Sunday Zoom group. Please, we would love to hear from you and to participate in things with you. I also would like to invite you to a time of conscious contribution and giving. Your gifts, your tithes, your donations, your contributions are so appreciated. On your screen, you'll see that there are different kinds of ways that you can do this. You can use the QR code on a mobile device. It'll take you directly to the donation portal. If you go to that portal, you'll see that you have opportunities to do a recurring donation. I want to encourage you to select that, in fact, as an option. You can use Cash App. You can also do text to give. Those of you who are doing recurring donations in various kinds of ways, some of you are doing full-on tithes, where you're tithing 10%. Whatever that is for you, know that you grow, know that you stretch just as financially is the same thing as what I've been talking about. That the only way that you'll ever know how much you can give is you've got to dig into the spot where you don't even think that it is and give more from that spot. This being holiday season, I know many people are doing online gift purchases. If you happen to use Amazon, I want to encourage you to go into your Amazon account and to sign up for the Amazon Smiles program. In this program, you can select Inner Light Ministries as your charitable organization. That means that a percentage of all of your eligible purchases will come to Inner Light in the form of a donation. It works with your Prime account. Just make sure that when you log in, that you're actually using the Amazon Smiles. All your regular information will be there, your past ordering and all the rest of that. But when you go through Smiles, you're guaranteeing that you're also going to be making a contribution to Inner Light. I want to say thank you to all of you for your generous giving. It enables us to continue our ministries. It enables us to reach more people with this transformative message. Thank you very much. As we start to close out, I am going to invite Stephen Walters to come back, and to do that, we have a motto that we always use at Inner Light, and I want to encourage you to do that, to follow us on social media, come back, share this information with other people, dare to put it into practice, take this consciousness and multiply it. So glad to be with you this day. Stephen, take us home.
The story's already written, still we play it scene by scene. Don't get lost in the action, it's all a dream. It all happens in a moment, though in time it's millions of years, ending in a perfect balance of laughter and tears. I'm just playing my part best as I can, straight from the heart. That's my plan. Lao Tzu threw poems in the river. I used to think he was the strangest man, but my eyes are wide open now and I understand. And maybe the song won't mean that much, still I think the groove is pretty cool. And it's important to have some fun while we're going to school. We're just playing our part best as we can, straight from the heart. That's my, that's my, that's my plan. 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 That's my plan.